Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BCN's Beyond the Network podcast. I'm Jeanne Duca, BCN's Chief Marketing Officer, and I'm beyond thrilled today to welcome our special guest, Adam Edwards, CEO of Telarus. Welcome to the program, Adam.
Thanks, Gene. It's great to be here with you.
Great. It's so wonderful to see you. When I visited you out in Utah back at the end of February, it's unbelievable how time has flown, and here we are heading into the summer months. It's really unbelievable how fast things go, isn't it?
Yeah, already Q2. I mean, we're close to halfway through the year, which is hard to believe.
It sure is. Well, listen, I wanted to start and just ask you if you have any reflections you'd like to share with our audience about Q1. I know we've seen some ups and downs, a little bit of whipsawing in the economy. What are you hearing from your technology advisor community? Any trends or challenges that they're sharing with you and the team?
I got to tell you, it's all over the place. You talk to some people, hey, I closed my biggest deal ever. You talk to some people, it's like the funnel dried up or the funnel stacking up. But the pattern we've seen in aggregate, we see thousands of advisors, and you kind of look at this across the country, across regions, and sometimes there are patterns and sometimes there are not. But the pattern that we saw was January was really off.
Mhm.
And I think there was just a lot of uncertainty. I believe around the election, a lot of people. When that happens, what I find is this channel thrives in an up market or a down market. We found
Interesting.
that, COVID created this freeze up of, everyone stalled out for a minute. And then once they realized what was going on, then they started making changes. Hey, got to work from home. UCaaS sales went through the roof. CX sales went up. We've got to reduce costs. All of a sudden, down market, up market, doesn't matter. When people know they've got to do something, they're making changes, then we
Mhm.
can have a conversation. The real challenge I find we have is when there is uncertainty. That
Mhm.
seems to be a paralysis for a lot of these companies going, whoa, what do we do? And so I find that, some of these companies are racing ahead. Hey, we got these AI initiatives, and so we're going to talk anything AI, or we're reserving time, and we're putting things on pause because we're over here looking at things. There are so many different ways that are being reacted. And what is remarkable to me right now is the duality of this excitement over AI and the opportunity and the changes and the value it's going to create. But at the same
Sure.
time, dread over, hey, we've got tariffs, we've got, different things going on in the world that we've never seen before. AI could take all of our jobs. And so I don't think I've ever experienced a duality like this where there's so much hope and excitement and so much fear and uncertainty at the same time.
That's,
And
that's so interesting. I love the way you frame that. And I think that's probably how people feel in general, right? Whether it's business or your personal life. I mean, you're excited about things, but yet you're nervous about things. So how are technology advisors dealing with that duality that you describe?
I think most are, they look at the opportunities and they're excited about it. What we're dealing with most right now is how does AI affect me and my
Mhm.
customers and the conversations I'm having with them? So if you look at a lot of our education, it is shifted over to AI, which, LLMs have taken over as the topic du jour. But that is not the be all end all of AI. If you look at Tesla, for example, they're not using LLMs to pilot their cars, their self-driving cars. When you look at like the network, like at BCN, it's not an LLM that is making those decisions, the routing, the optimization, security as well. So there's so
Mhm.
many different things going on with AI. The real concern, I think, among advisors is, hey, I need to get smarter fast because I am trusted by these people to be knowledgeable and I'm getting out of my depth real fast. And so that's where we're focused with them.
Excellent, excellent. That's great. And it's interesting when we spoke again back in February, we talked about how the burgeoning AI applications and the adoption of those applications by businesses really is driving that need for bandwidth, more secure bandwidth. But to get into those conversations, to your point, a technology advisor really needs to understand what they're getting into. They have to know what is the first question, what's the second question, how do I get them to tell me what I need to know so that I can bring a solution to whatever they happen to be facing?
No, that was exactly our conversation. The pattern we've seen is the advisors that are having the more holistic conversation of what are you doing with this? What is the application it's connecting to, the data set? What is your objective? What's the outcome you're looking for? When
Right.
we're having those more holistic conversations, the network will pull through with all its functionality and all its goodness. But it's when we start with the objectives, those are the people that are having greater success across many more products and applications.
Sure. Excellent point. Excellent point. Well, they're certainly in a great position working with you and the team at Telarus because you've always kind of taken that approach. You were among the first to really talk about technology and what that meant and be educators of your technology advisors. So I'm sure they're getting what they need from you and the team. And speaking of that, the last time we spoke again, you were so excited about the upcoming release of Telarus Hub, and lo and behold, it is here and has been here for, I think, about a month. So I would love for you to talk more about that and what drove you to develop it, what it's all about, and what the reaction has been from your TAs.
I think excited and nervous would probably be appropriate because we were moving off of our platform that we built on day one. So we've been on this platform for 20 plus years. And what we concluded is, for multiple reasons, we needed something different. What happens is, you just don't know the answers up front. I mean, here's something embarrassing I'll tell you is when we first built our platform,
Hmm.
back in 05, we assumed that every customer would be equivalent to the service they had, meaning each customer had one circuit, one location, one service, because that's what we were selling. So we had to
Hmm.
make these modifications. The architecture wasn't built out with multi-site in mind. I know that sounds ridiculous today, but that's where we started, in the channel was selling these small services to SMBs. And that's just one example of things that we had to bolt on and we had to adjust and change and fix and adapt. And pretty soon you get this massive base of code that every time you make a change, you have got to consider all these patches and adjustments that were made. And so
Hmm.
we found that 60% of our time was just on maintaining the existing code base. Only
Interesting.
40% of the time was going to new innovation. So we were slowing down. And what I've learned is it's always the right decision. You don't usually don't use extremes like this, but it's always the right decisions to go back and start over. You feel like it's a waste of time. We'll get there. We have to pay this tax and this code debt, but what we found is you move so much faster. And
Sure.
so putting together this this project was really first started with the data foundation. Many people don't understand this, but as an advisor, revenue and sales are not connected. And that may not make sense, but when
Mhm.
you're getting commissions from a third party being produced by a third party advisor, or sorry, a third party supplier going through a third party software, and you're recording sales on another system, those don't connect. And
Right.
what that means is the insights you receive and the value you can show to your advisor is disconnected. And you can
Hmm.
try to patch that together, but anytime you do that, you're going to introduce flaws into the data and therefore some errors. And so we corrected that. That was the first thing we did with this data transformation. We launched our new commission system, and man, we did parallel processing for 3 months. It was 3 weeks
Wow.
because this is what the whole business runs off of is
Sure.
if you get a partner's commission wrong, you're in trouble.
That's
And
right.
oh man. So what we found was it worked exceptionally well. The only errors we saw were on the old system because it didn't contain some of the guardrails and consistency of the new system.
Hmm.
And so we found the new system was far superior, but more importantly, it was easier to manage and it could adapt to the changes going forward.
That's
So,
great.
so
That's great. And you know when I had a chance to go onto the Telarus site and watch the demo and listen to the videos, and as I was watching it, I thought, wow, I'll bet the TAs absolutely love this whole commission visibility aspect of that because that's really where the rubber meets the road, right? To your point, don't mess with my commission. And I know that we're all so very cautious and careful about that, when we operate in the channel. So I'm not surprised that that was a key point for you.
it was. I mean, that being the foundation, we've always been passionate about that. What was challenging, though, in the old interfaces, people couldn't see the work we were doing. We opened 5 tickets for every one that our advisors opened because we're
Right.
auditing, we're checking, we're going and following up, making sure
Mhm.
things are paid timely and accurately. We weren't getting any credit for that because it was not, it was so hard to find. It just wasn't, front and center. And
Right.
so what's interesting is some of the things we'd already thought of are just now more visible and accessible.
Mhm. That's wonderful. And how has reaction been? What have you been hearing? How's adoption? How are you pushing that to the technology advisors?
So it's interesting. I'll tell you, it's mixed. So people came through, and the ones coming through were like, "Hey, this is great, amazing, intuitive, so much better. It's easier. I'm in there," and we can see their usage cranking up. This is
Right.
becoming their operating system because they can find their customers, they can find the registration, they know it was approved, they know they're locked in, then all of these things. They can get to education 6 times more. People are going into the university because it's so easy and findable now. It's single sign-on. It's great. But what's interesting is our legacy partners who are so comfortable in the old system have had more of a
Right.
challenge moving over because they're comfortable.
Right. Right.
It's kind
Isn't
of like
that
having
the way,
that.
that's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
well, it's kind of like
always
you have this messy desk, and you're like, "Don't worry, I know where everything is. Don't worry about it."
that's right. I know it may not be efficient, but it's my system.
That's right.
Don't,
That's
don't
right.
mess with my system.
So we'll
Well,
get them
that's
there.
great. Your team must be thrilled. I know it must have taken you, how long did you work on this? It must have been months, if not over a year, I would
Oh,
imagine.
oh, oh, it's been 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
It's been
Wow.
2 years to shift all the data to get this single source of truth to bring these things all together. It was a long time.
Amazing, amazing. Well, congratulations to you and the whole team. Again, what a terrific way to head into the summit coming up later this summer to be able to showcase that and talk about adoption and get more feedback from the technology advisors who attend.
We're looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Partner Summit it's a fun time to show off of, hey, look what we've built for you. But what's
exactly.
also interesting about it is over the past, I'd say 7 years, it has really shifted to education. It used to be
Hmm.
entertainment. Hey, come show up. We're going to go fly fishing. We're going to have a hot air
Yeah.
balloon ride. It's going to be great. We're going to get together and maybe we'll learn something. And we started with our education was a bonus session at the first day where people could
Hmm.
show up voluntarily. And we found that sold out, and it got more and more popular. And now the show is so focused on education that's really its purpose. There's always networking. There's always that goodness of coming
Sure.
together. But what's
Hmm.
most important to these advisors is, hey, I got to stay on the top of my game, and if you can't help me do that, I don't have time. Uh,
Yes. True. And so based on what you said earlier, will the whole advent of AI and the role that's taking, is that going to be prominent in your education track?
Absolutely. It is right now in each of the education elements we have today. In our university, we're finding more digital education. People are consuming digitally. In person still matters because you've got to form those
Mhm.
relationships and it helps you to focus. But digitally, we're pushing so much more of that out, but much AI. So we get in there between fact and fiction of, what's hype that's really not usable and what are companies really struggling with that we can help them with products that exist today.
That's great. That's great. Well, I know that it's always well attended. I know we're really looking forward to being there, and it's always been a wonderful event that you and the team put on. And I know you always do a nice mix of, as you said, education and fun, because in the end, too, that's what the channel is all about. We talk about why is this channel so great to work inside of, and it's because of the people and because of the relationships. And I think that bringing people together the way you do each year in that group is so valuable and really means so much to everyone.
Well, we've appreciated your support. It doesn't happen without you doing it. I think there's been some skepticism around events. Is it worth it? Does it make sense? Can we go all digital? And the thing that we've concluded to is yes, digital wherever possible. Make it accessible, at any point in time, midnight, weekend, whatever.
Right.
However, there is no replacement for sitting together. After all, it is a business based on trust.
Absolutely.
The customer trusts the advisor has to trust that supplier and know them
Absolutely.
and understand them.
I couldn't agree more. I absolutely couldn't agree more. What else is coming? What else is new? What should we be on the lookout for from Telarus and the team?
Well, you're going to continue to see more innovation. Since March, so we launched March 19th, so we're about 2 months in now.
Yeah.
We've already launched 75 new features and functions,
Oh my goodness.
and that pace will actually accelerate as we decommission our legacy back office. Yes, we are going to nudge our beloved advisors over,
Hmm.
but the reason is we can innovate faster. We don't have to maintain the old code base because every new feature today requires backward compatibility. And so we can stop that. That means 40% faster, where we can go. And it's really about what we see going forward on this platform is that the reason data infrastructure is so important is It's getting that data in front of the advisor so they can make better decisions. What is
Excellent.
BCN doing today? What is new? Well, they can't remember that. But when I'm in a conversation with a customer, I need to know what's going on, how are implementations going, how is the staff, who should I be working with, what are the use case? Like when we bring all of that together, and that's a big change from yesteryear where it was just would provide a library of, hey, here's the marketing information they provided. Well, it's so much more of our insights, our engineers' experience, the transactional data we can show them, and that's all coming through the hub.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for the team, and I'm excited for our partnership. We're doing great things together, and we look forward to a terrific rest of 2025 and beyond.
As
Adam,
do we. We've been more engaged than ever with BCN, and we see the trajectory and love it.
wonderful. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk with us. It's always great to get your perspective, and we look forward to hearing again from you soon. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Jeannie.
much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this episode of BCN's Beyond the Network podcast with our special guest, Telarus CEO Adam Edwards. Stay tuned for future episodes. We look forward to seeing you again.